Welcome to this lunchtime broadcast, which highlights the news-making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the news headlines. Individuals subjected to terrible living conditions at Katutura Youth Complex. Health Ministry receives 19 Pelebox Smart Locker Machines. And bulk of Namibia's power imported from Zambia, not South Africa. I am Ashwin Berry and this is NMH at 1. In the midday news update, Azar Madisia and Stephen Mulundu are expected to be sentenced on the 13th of June in connection with the charge they were found guilty of yesterday. Mulundu's legal representatives, Tanya Klassen, asked Judge Christy Liebenberg for a 3-year prison sentence, 1 year of which she said should be suspended. Mulundu was not charged or found guilty on charges of fraud. Madisia's legal representative, Albert Titus, asked on her behalf for 3 years in prison on the charge of defeating the law and 1 year on each of the 2 charges of fraud. Neither Madisia nor Mulundu testified in mitigation of their sentences, but a heartbreaking testimony by Shannon Wasserfall's father, Tega Matthews, was followed by an emotional letter that Madisia wrote and addressed to Wasserfall's son and family. Visual News brings you local stories from across Namibia after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
The Minister of Health and Social Services, Kalumbi Shangula, yesterday received 19 Pelebox Smart Locker Machines from the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief and the Global Fund. The Peleboxes will provide patient-centered service delivery, according to Shangula, and will allow patients to confidently and confidentially access medication. These devices have been distributed all across Namibia. Elizabeth was there.
Let all our faces exuberate happiness on this occasion. Director of Proceedings. Technological advances and innovations are continuing to transform and impact the manner in which institutions, including public institutions, deliver services to the public. These innovations can be found in different areas of service delivery, including healthcare. The Ministry of Health and Social Services embraces new technologies that can enable us to deliver services to our people more efficiently and enhance efficiency, translating into value for money. I thought I was taller than this one. As part of the performance management system, which aim to reduce waste and increase operational efficiencies in offices, ministries, and agencies of government, we are constantly looking for 8 ways in which we can re-engineer many of the manual processes through technological innovations.
Now, Petrus Mouton shared his experience in terrible living conditions at the Katutura Youth Complex, where he, along with some other people, have been staying since the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. He spoke to Jeanette Deerhart.
Yes, dat was nie my keuse nie. Ek was beter af waar ek gebly het in die straat. Ek is geretrein, ek het op die myn gewerk. Ek is geretrench en COVID en visrot het my geëffekteer dat ek vandag met my kinders in die straat beland het en hier gebring is van ek is gearresteer. Ja. So die omstandighede iets worst is die himbas wat bly hier wat hulle se geld wag van die government af is die herrerisse wat hier bly. Ons weet nie wat gaan aan nie. Maar ons is hier en ons kry swaar. Ons kry verskriklik swaar. Ek moet elke dag gaan en vir my kind neppies en melk gaan sola in die dorp by boere gaan vra van as die boere wat vir ons help. Of die colours. So dis ons strakel. Ons kry swaar en hier word alkohol verkoop in hierdie kamp. Die mense drink verskriklik en hier's bekleiereis. Daar's nie securities by die hekke nie. Voorheen was daar securities, maar daar's nie meer securities nie. Ja, van dat kindel weg is. Daar was 'n kindel gewees, so sy is nie meer hier nie. So dis die dinge wat nou aangaan. Dis heeltemal kamp. En ons slap in vrees. Ek is onveilig oor my kinders. Ek is onveilig oor my vrou. Ons slap nie, ons rus nie, ons kan nie slap nie. Soos die mense aangaan nie. Ja. En ek is 'n sterk gesonde man. Ek is qualified, ek wil werk en ek kan werk. Ek het werk nodig. Dis al. Klaar.
What Judge Christy Liebenberg did today was a lousy job. I am heartbroken but also angry. These remarks were by Shannon Wassefall's father. More on this after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Heading into the newspaper review, we start with the Namibian Sun front page. What Judge Christy Liebenberg did today was a lousy job. I am absolutely heartbroken, but I am also angry. These remarks by Shannon Wassefall's father, Dennis, summed up the feelings of the deceased family towards High Court Judge Christy Liebenberg's ruling that siblings Azan Madisia and Stephen Mulundu were not guilty of her widely publicized death. Wassefall went missing on 10 April 2020 at Walvish Bay. Following her disappearance, communities rallied together using social media in search of her. Now, Afonsine Mudumbi, a grieving mother whose 9-year-old son was killed by a crocodile last year, but whose remains were never found, continues to struggle with the fact that she was not able to conduct a proper burial. I am not the only mother who has lost a child, but the pain of not having buried your child is a feeling no mother should go through, Mudumbi said this last week. She spoke to Namibian Sun shortly before Mother's Day from her home at Runjarara village in the Kavango East region. She said not even the 100,000 compensation payout she received from government for a child's death has eased the grief she has endured since 2 April 2022. Tears of joy fell and jubilation rang out yesterday at the Supreme Court in the capital when Chief Justice Peter Shivute delivered a judgment recognizing the foreign spouses of 2 Namibian citizens in same-sex marriages. After 7 years of struggle, we now know that Anita can call Namibia her home. We have not only one for us, but for other lesbians and gays as well, Annette Siela told a Namibia Media Holdings journalist shortly after the verdict. Siela shared that for the first time in years, her family can breathe a sigh of relief. We no longer have to worry about next steps as we have during the past 7 years. The battle is over. We can now go on with our lives knowing that we can stay in Namibia, she said. And according to Republican, another case against the British billionaire and accused murderer Harvey Bolter is currently before the court. The latest case against him was brought by 5 individuals who request that the High Court in Windhoek order him to comply with the court order issued by a court in Dubai in July 2020. The 5 citizens of the United Arab Emirates claim Bolter swindled them out of more than 56.9 million Namibian dollars. According to this court order, Bolter was ordered to repay them 56.9 million. On its front page, the Allgemeine Zeitung today leads with the ruling by the Namibian Supreme Court, which as from yesterday recognizes the marriages of Namibians who previously married same-sex partners outside the borders of Namibia. This ruling is likely to open up the future possibility of recognizing adopted children as Namibian citizens after they had previously been adopted abroad by same-sex couples, quite apart from the fact that the possibility of same-sex marriages within Namibia boundaries now move into focus. On its page 2, the Allgemeine Zeitung focuses on the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund, which is still facing a number of hurdles now that it will be reintegrated into the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. We continue with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk. We bring jou lees die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis julle mondvol gaan byt.
The Namibian reports that lies told by Walvis Bay resident Azan Madisia after the disappearance of the 21-year-old Shannon Wassefall in April 2020 cannot be taken as proof that Madisia was guilty of killing Wassefall. These were the words of High Court Judge Christy Liebenberg, which she said when she acquitted Madisia and her brother on a charge of murder yesterday. The Northern Electricity Distributor has been accused of keeping its customers in the dark on the planned power disconnections due to outstanding debts to NamPower. The power utility has warned it would cut power supply to defaulting customers, of which NORED is the biggest culprit. NORED distributes power to the Omsati, Oshana, Oshikoto, Ohangwena, Kavango East, Kavango West and Zambezi regions, as well as Kunene. New Era zooms in on Yvonne Antonia and her 1-year-old daughter, who live in the elements and amidst filth in a riverbed running through Freedom Square in the Katutura Central constituency. After relocating from Oshinene village in the Omaheka region last year in search of employment, Antonia's hopes for a better life quickly turned into a desperate fight for survival, as surviving on a daily basis does not come easy for her and her daughter. Nurses on night duty at the Nunkundu District Hospital in Kavango West region are forced to use cell phone flashlights in the hospital's corridors at night. They say taking a corpse to the mortuary at night has become a nightmare for them, as there are no light bulbs in the corridors. This was revealed in a speech read by registered nurse Likuranu Imerisiana on behalf of her colleagues during the celebration of International Nurses Day at the same hospital last Friday. Food inflation has become a major concern for policymakers, consumers and businesses worldwide. The Agricultural Bank of Namibia said international food commodity prices rose for the first time in a year by 0.61% in April 2023 from 2.58% in March 2023 due to a rebound in sugar and meat prices. Consumers and businesses have also become increasingly concerned about upside inflation and monetary policy risks. The bulk of Namibia's power is imported from Zambia, not South Africa. This is according to NamPower CEO, and the story leads us into economic news after this short break.
Discover the breathtaking beauty of Namibia with Tourismus, a captivating program that uncovers the country's diverse landscapes, wildlife, and cultural experiences. Featuring insightful interviews with tourism experts, each episode takes you on a mesmerizing journey, exploring Namibia's majestic sand dunes, vibrant wildlife, and unique attractions. Watch Tourismus on NTV, Saturdays at 20:30 in German, and Sundays at 6 p.m. in English, for a heartwarming and unforgettable adventure.
Nampower CEO Simpson Haulofu says Namibia is not reliant on South African bulk energy supplier Eskom for all its power needs and actually gets significantly more electricity from Zambia and Zimbabwe. Nampower sources its electricity from Eskom, ZESCO in Zambia and the Zimbabwe Power Company. Haulofu made the comments in light of plans by the South African bulk electricity supplier to possibly implement stage 9 load shedding in that country and whether this would have any bearing on Nampower's ability to provide electricity to Namibia. We have got bilateral agreements with Eskom to supply us 100 megawatts and we have agreements in Zambia for 180 megawatts. Of course, in this country, we are always talking about Eskom, but we are getting more power from Zambia and 80 megawatts from Zimbabwe. We have never been approached by any of them that they will be cutting supplies, Haulofu said. The CEO noted that when Eskom implements load shedding in South Africa, it also implements load shedding in Namibia to the extent that it has been implemented in that country. Let's head into the economic indicators. $19 and 12 cents gets you $1 while £1 will now cost 23 Namibian and 80 cents. Letseco Holdings Namibia stocks have dropped by 2.6% in price, while other stock prices remain unchanged on the NSX. Local index has closed 0.09% higher, while overall index saw a 0.46% downturn. And all these commodities have dropped in price, with Brent crude oil now valued at $74 and 42 cents per barrel. 6 African leaders plan to travel to Russia and Ukraine as soon as possible to help find a resolution to the war. Stick around for the full story.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Six African leaders plan to travel to Russia and Ukraine as soon as possible to help find a resolution to the war, President Cyril Ramaphosa said on Tuesday. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have agreed to receive the mission and African heads of state in Moscow and Kyiv, Ramaphosa said. Ramaphosa said he had held separate telephone calls with Putin and Zelensky over the weekend, where he presented an initiative drawn up by Zambia, Senegal, the Republic of Congo, Uganda, Egypt, and South Africa. I agreed with both President Putin and President Zelensky to commence with preparations for engagements with the African heads of state, Ramaphosa said. African countries have been badly hit by rising prices of grain and by the impact to world trade. The announcement came a day after Ramaphosa said South Africa had been under extraordinary pressure to pick sides in the conflict following accusations from the United States that Pretoria supplied weapons to Moscow, a move that would break with its professed neutrality. The World Bank has suspended funding for humanitarian and development projects in Democratic Republic of Congo with more than $1 billion after the government dissolved the project fund without warning, the leader said. The suspension will affect more than 600,000 beneficiaries, including victims of sexual violence, the World Bank told Congo's finance minister last week. In a letter seen by Reuters, a World Bank spokesperson confirmed its authenticity. The letter also said that the bank was still waiting for documentation in the status of $91 million, which had already been advanced for the projects out of the total $1.04 billion. On May 4, Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi dissolved the structure, the Social Fund of Democratic Republic of Congo, by the presidential order and created another public fund. The change was due to the evolution of the legal framework governing public institutions, according to his statement. We'll be swinging over to international news, starting off with New Mexico. The gunman who shot dead 3 elderly women as he prowled a New Mexico neighborhood firing at cars this week had legally purchased an assault-style rifle, one of 3 weapons he used in the rampage, a month after he turned 18, police said on Tuesday. The suspect, whose shooting spree on Monday morning through a residential area of Farmington, New Mexico, ended when police shot him dead, was publicly identified on Tuesday as 18-year-old Bew Wilson, a student at Farmington High School. Police said Bew Wilson stalked a quarter-mile stretch of roadway on foot, firing indiscriminately at cars, with some homes also being hit, before police confronted him outside a church, exchanging gunfire with Wilson to halt his advance. Video footage showed Wilson dressed in black, pacing around the church driveway, holding what appeared to be a handgun with an extended high-capacity magazine before he was killed. The minutes-long burst of violence stirred hours of fear as police searched the area to ensure order was restored in the town, a major retail center and fossil energy hub about 290 kilometers northwest of Albuquerque, in an area known as the Four Corners because it is where 4 southwest states intersect. We'll be heading over into local sports, starting off with bodybuilding.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Heading into local sport, 6 bodybuilders from Swakopmund will show their muscles at the Arnold Amateur Bodybuilding Competition from the 18th to the 20th of May in South Africa. The athletes were selected after participating in the Sunfest Bodybuilding and Fitness Classic last year. MTC Namibia Netball Premiership defending champions Mighty Gunners face 2 of the lesser sides in the competition this weekend, presenting a chance to go top of the standings for the first time this season. The Capricorn Group Schools Netball League was launched for the 4th consecutive year at the Windhoek Gymnasium just in Windhoek yesterday. All right, we'll be starting off with news from Wigan Athletic and Namibian international Ryan Nyambe.
Discover the breathtaking beauty of Namibia with Tourismus, a captivating program that uncovers the country's diverse landscapes, wildlife, and cultural experiences. Featuring insightful interviews with tourism experts, each episode takes you on a mesmerizing journey, exploring Namibia's majestic sand dunes, vibrant wildlife, and unique attractions. Watch Tourismus on NTV, Saturdays at 20:30 in German, and Sundays at 6 p.m. in English, for a heartwarming and unforgettable adventure.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Let's get into the international sport updates. Wigan Athletic, where Namibian international Ryan Nyambe plies his trade, has settled players and non-playing staff their overdue wages. In golf, Rory McIlroy says he is near the form he needs to win his first major title since 2014 after a mental health break to cope with the deflating Masters result. The 4-time major winner also said on Tuesday at the PGA Championship that avoiding talk about the Live Golf League will be part of how he moves forward after previously being one of the most vocal PGA Tour supporters. 5 referees who have been included on the Rugby World Cup 2023 match official panel have been appointed to take charge of the Springboks Castle Lager Rugby Championship and RWC warm-up tests in the build-up to the international extravaganza in France in September and October. If you are just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this break.
To another exciting episode of Iran World Talk. Hier is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Let's get into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. 6 African leaders plan to travel to Russia and Ukraine as soon as is possible to help find a resolution to the war, President Cyril Ramaphosa said on Tuesday. The gunman who shot dead 3 elderly women as he prowled a New Mexico neighborhood firing at cars this week had legally purchased an assault-style rifle, one of 3 weapons he used in the rampage, a month after he turned 18, police said on Tuesday. 6 bodybuilders from Swakopmund will show their muscles at the Arnold Amateur Bodybuilding Competition from the 18th to the 20th of May in South Africa. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio.